Hey there, hope you're doing well. In this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about the approach we take for doing a lot of our UX designs. As you probably know, we are a small shop, but we have a pretty big product. We have multiple clients like a web app, native mobile app, and so on and so forth. So we have a tiny bit of time before we get started on a feature to kind of narrow down and arrive at how that page should or screen should look like. Of course, we are pretty agile, so we change as we go, but we want to get it hit the ground running from day one for every new feature we work on building. So here's an approach. I mean, we have a few different variations to this approach, but more or less this is what we do to actually get our pages before we start coding to those. I'm going to show you how we do them. So I'm going to record this on my device here. That way you actually see how I actually do this. Okay, so let me go to this app and create a screen here. Just draw this out. Just to give you a background, I don't draw very well. Very well is like what is it, euphemism or whatever. I draw very poorly, right? So I have to manage with my tiny bit of drawing skills to do these engineering drawings. I'm using the word loosely as well. So long as I understand how this page should be constructed or built, and the folks working with me also understand, because we do it together. So having said that, let's take a very simple example, right? Let's say we are actually going to be implementing a sign-in, maybe a sign-in or a sign-up page, right? Let's start with the sign-up page, for instance. Very basic stuff, right? So for this, you in the real world, definitely as a startup, you probably don't even have to spend much time designing, because there's a ton of templates out there and it has to do basic stuff. But it's not a bad example for us to start with, right? Just to get the idea across. So let's say you're given a task for saying, someone tells you, hey, you know what, go design a sign up page, and as a product manager, as a UX designer, you have to do this and then give it to your dev team. Here's one way you could do that. There are many ways, but I'm going to talk about one quick way that works for us. And to focus on what the purpose of this video is I'm trying to call out for the difference, even though I haven't said that yet, between using fancy tools, which are always nice. It's always nice to use a tool. It could be Sketch. I think it's Adobe's. There's multiple Sketch products out there. I know one of them is Adobe Sketch, at least the app. And then there's OmniGraffle for Mac. And Creately, and there's a number of other tools that you could actually use to do this. But a lot of them take time, and if you have to be precise in terms of the pixelation and the gap between the buttons and everything else, and you're pretty anal about it, then maybe you do want to use that tool. But for most of us, at least a version of it that you can draw out works quite well. And that's what I want to show you here. Even as someone who does not draw very well, how can we possibly do this so we can save a ton of time not having to actually drag and drop these boxes and make them look pretty and whatnot, right? Anyway, so let me show you. Okay, there I go. So let's say I just create this is in landscape mode. It gives me a little bit of room to draw. I'm just going to say this is literally sign up page on native mobile, right? This is just to tell me that this is not for mobile web or the web product. So let's say sign up on mobile. I'm going to choose a different color here. Okay, this is my idea of the screen itself, and then I'm going to say it is going to be, maybe I'll choose a slightly different color. We want to ask the user to enter their email, right? So we're going to say email address. It's going to be a text box here, and then we want them to enter their password, and then we have another one that says confirm password. Okay, that's not enough room, so I'm going to leave this open, right? Okay, let's go back here, and then we're gonna have a button here that says let me just choose a slightly different color. That says sign up, right? And now let's just make this simple enough. Okay, so let's call this essentially page number 1, right? Maybe this is our first page. So here we have something very simple. It says email address, password, confirm password, and then sign up, right? We get the point here. We obviously need some brandings that needs to happen here. I don't recall what ours looks like, so maybe I could say add our logo somewhere here, and then that gives you an idea as to what gives the developer an idea as to what this basic page should actually look like. And I spent like 1 minute, maybe a minute and a half tops, drawing this out. If you were to do this using one of these tools, even if you're very good at it, sure, it probably works. But if a lot of times I need a combination of tools. I need InVision. I do use InVision in some cases to draw out the workflow and the navigation. But even to do that, if I have to use Sketch or something else to create these wireframes, it actually takes a significant amount of time. I know this is a very basic page, you have to remember that, but as this can get complex, the pages and screens can get complex, they have to have multiple variations. We have to kind of analyze the user experience as to what works well, what doesn't work well. It tends to take that amount of time. So let's continue with this. Now that we have that, so we're going to say email address. I'm going to say do regex validation. Essentially, you want to make sure it is an email, it has a dot, an at, and things of that nature, so people don't implement garbage. People don't enter garbage emails. So do regex validations is 1. 2 is prevent bot signups. Now you could do this on the UI or the API or on both ends. But we at least want to account for something. And also dummy emails, for instance. There's plenty of test emails that you could be using. We don't want users to sign up using those domains, essentially, right? So prevent bot signups. Again, prevent test email domains, essentially, right? So those are some of them. And then let's come here to password. Needs to be 8 characters or more. It needs to have maybe a special character plus a number, for instance. So those are some of our checks. And then 3 need to match. Those 2 emails need to match, right? So some of those checks. And then the last but not least, sign up. Making API request, and maybe you want to disable the button if your APIs could take a second or 2 for the sign up to complete. So that completes the action. Right now you basically say that this is the page for mobile. You go implement it. Now you notice that this is just a wireframe. We're not talking colors. Even though I used a variety of different colors here, that's no reflection. So the dev maybe is going to take an initial stab at it. There's plenty of examples. You look up. We're not reinventing the wheel here for a lot of these initial pages. And even the ones that are unique to your business, there will be aspects of those pages where you want to stick to some standardized methodologies and design patterns from a user experience standpoint. So even though I gave you an introduction to the video, the whole video is like maybe shy of 10 minutes. So we are done with a page, a mobile UX design, right? Now we can actually take a screenshot of this. What I generally do is I would take a screenshot of this, and then I would, if I were to use InVision, for instance, and to to communicate the navigation, right, or maneuvering between pages, I'll just stick these screenshots and animation and just wire them up. So that takes literally no time, because now we have to wire the sign up action, so to speak. So what you would do, I'll probably do a subsequent video to show that. We just say that the sign up action will take you to a next page. Maybe it throws an error if something's not right, or it takes you to the landing page, to the secure landing pages. So anyways, hopefully that gives you an idea. I can probably dig deeper in my subsequent videos, but here's one way you could do quick UX designs, right? So as long as your team understands your handwriting and the way you draw, as poorly as it might be, you should still be all right. Thanks for watching.